Good morning, everyone. My name is Anna Wilson. I'm the Corporate Marketing Manager here at ESC Spectrum. I'd like to welcome you to the StackVision 6.18 in a nutshell webinar. We will have Ms. Michelle Staniff presenting to you today. I've just got a few announcements before she starts. Number one is she will be taking questions. If you would just wait until the end of the information she's presenting. And please use your questions pane, which should be to the right of your screen in the GoToWebinar panel, to submit your questions. I will read them off for Michelle and she will answer them to the best of her ability. If there's something that she can't answer, we will make a note and have someone get back to you just as soon as possible to answer it. The other thing I want to let you know about is that there will be another StackVision 6.18 webinar tomorrow that will focus specifically on the enhanced dashboard features. A lot of great new changes. Michelle will touch on those, but if you want a real deep dive into all the great stuff that you'll see in this version, then you definitely don't want to miss tomorrow's webinar, which will be at 10 a.m. Central Time. To register for that webinar, just head to our website, escspectrum.com, click on events, which is at the very top of the screen, go to the events calendar and register there. So those are all my announcements. So I am going to let Michelle take over from here and tell you all about StackVision 6.18. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Staniff, and I'm going to be going over the new features and bug fixes in StackVision 6.18, which was released yesterday. Here are our installation requirements. And here is our new support timeline. Note that we have added server support for Windows 2022 with SQL 2019. And for the StackVision client, we will be ending Windows 7 support on June 30th. Thank you to all our beta testers. We really appreciate your time and your feedback. And keep in mind that we can always set up a screen share with you if you want to see new features before they're released. Let's start with the new features in 6.18. We have rewritten dashboards, and as Anna mentioned, there is going to be a webinar which goes into a lot of detail tomorrow at 10 a.m. So if you would like to see what changes we've made, be sure and sign up for that. Documentation updates, description of roles in user accounts, configuring parameter equation settings, and SIMS gas schema template. The table of role descriptions in the topic Create User Roles has been updated in the User Account section. In the Stack Studio User Guide, an important note has been added to alert users of the issues that could occur when a parameter has the same name as an equation function when configuring parameter equation settings. A download link has been added for the ESC Spectrum SIMS gas schema template, and that is on the StackVision downloads page in the customer community. And a new topic labeled ESC Spectrum SIMS gas schema has been added in the cylinder management section of the StackVision user guide. Miscellaneous tests allow more than one sorbent trap quarterly test to be entered at a time in the wizard. This change was made because it's tedious for users to manually add one record at a time. So allowing them to enter multiple records at the same time in the wizard will save time and is more efficient. In 6.18, users can select multiple systems and components in the wizard. Enter a unique test number, and tests will be numbered sequentially, starting with the test number that you entered in the wizard. Test numbers must be unique for each location and test type. And if they're duplicate test numbers, you'll see an error when you try to save. The duplicate test numbers will display in a pop-up dialog, and at the bottom, you'll see any additional records with duplicate test numbers that don't display. So here at the bottom of this dialog, you see there are actually 11 more records with duplicate test numbers. The pop-up will only display the first 9 records. Manually change the duplicate test number to a unique test number in the grid, and you'll be able to save. And you can enter up to 50 characters for a test number. Fuel systems. Fuel samples gas sample wizard should be in grains per 100 standard cubic feet. When adding a gas sample, the wizard asks for percent sulfur, which can be confusing to users because they think they need to convert the sample from grains per 100 standard cubic feet to percent sulfur. And this change applies to all gas EPA fuel types. Reports. Display the duration of each task in the Process Now history report. This provides the ability to see how long each Process Now task takes to run. And here's an example of the Process Now history report with the new duration column, which shows how long it took each task to run. Reports. Add plant manager name and title text boxes to all performance summary reports. Users can now enter a plant manager name and title in the SQL Server Reporting Services linked report. This applies to the opacity, MATS, RSR, and permit performance summary reports. And these fields are hidden and only accessible when creating or modifying a linked report. When the linked report is generated, the name and title will automatically display in the linked report. Another report change, enhance custom rounding in the average data report. This will allow users to choose the decimal position to display in the average data report. Currently, the round values option doesn't show enough decimal places, and the no rounding option shows too many. So this way, users will have control over what displays. Here we see the new selection options in the report. In the rounding drop-down, you see custom rounding. And in the round value to drop-down, you have a selection to choose from. And the default option will display the maximum decimal places. Here is an example of the report with a round value set to 5. We've added a new QA test status report. The QA status report displays the number of calendar and operating quarters until the next test is due and since the last test was conducted. The report also displays the remaining grace period hours for applicable tests with the grace period. The report requires the QA test deadline process now task to display these results in the report. The tests included are calibration gas audit, flow meter accuracy, leak check, linearity, permit RADA, primary element inspection, RADA, RADA 3 level, and transmitter transducer. QA test deadlines. Add a field indicating the number of operating hours. When this new option is checked, the operating hours of sources associated with the test parameters will display, and it is unchecked by default. Here's an example of a QA test deadline report with the option checked. And here we see the report without the option checked. StackVision OPC Data Mapper. Add backpolling functionality. This new tab has been added to the StackVision OPC Data Mapper, and it provides the ability for users to manually backpull data from OPC servers. Here is the new tab. The parameter list is based on the mappings you've configured. There is a refresh parameters button, start and end date fields, and a backpull button. The parameter list will update when the mapper is closed and reopened. If it's actively mapping tags, the refresh parameters button will update the list without the need to close the application. Notice that parameter 1 has both data value and is maintenance mapped. Both will be backpulled when the parameter is selected. Batches run asynchronously, and created batches are separated by hour and parameter. Batching per hour is not configurable. The backpull status is only on the server for now, not the client. And since this is a first pass, we may see some limitations on the results. You can go to the user guide for more information on configuration and logging. Okay, let's go over the bug fixes now. In charts, there was an issue where the x-axis time frame didn't match the start and end date picker. This has been fixed in 6.18 and will hopefully clear up any confusion around what appeared to be blank data on the leftmost and rightmost points in the chart. In cylinder management, users were unable to import a cylinder from a QR code. The problem was that the customer certificate was in both upper and lower case when scanned. Cylinder management will now import gas certificates with both upper and lower cases. Also in cylinder management, importing a cylinder with the same ID causes an error when cases are mismatched. This happened when a bottle was empty and sent back to the vendor to be refilled. The cylinder ID remained the same when the bottle was recertified. Now, the cylinder ID will import in uppercase regardless of the import method. If the duplicate cylinder ID is imported while the cylinder is in service, the existing cylinder information will not be overwritten. Reports in the root directory are not listed alphabetically. This was a random issue where the StackVision reports in the root directory were not being sorted alphabetically, and this has been fixed in 6.18. An issue with the Process Now configuration report was that sequences with names greater than 20 characters did not display in the report. This has been fixed. As we can see here, the sequence name is now displaying. There was a bug with the StackVision installer. When reports were uploaded to a specific folder, the data source would upload outside of that folder. Now, the data source uploads into the folder specified during the install or upgrade. A bug with logbook entry types was that the CalLab logbook entry type order couldn't be changed in Stack Studio. This has now been fixed, and you can change the order by clicking the priority up and down arrows. There was a bug with Condition Manager where the C&D file wouldn't close after reading, and this could prevent StackVision core services from restarting after Stack Studio save. And this has now been fixed. There was a bug with the OPC data mapper where a null false value mapping caused an error when the mapped tag value was false. And here we see when false value is not configured and the associated OPC tag is false, no controller flag string is applied to the data and there is no error. Another OPC issue, the source item mapped tag for the calibration expected value was not in the CSV export. Now mapping exports and imports correctly. In summary, please notify support if you see any issues with StackVision 6.18. You can contact them by phone, email, or live chat. Upcoming events. There will be a new dashboard webinar tomorrow at 10 a.m., as Anna mentioned. SIMS and DAS training at EPRI will be on Tuesday, May 10th in Indianapolis. SIMS and DAS training in Pensacola will be August 16th through the 18th. And you can register for any of these events on the ESC Spectrum website. Are there any questions?
If anybody has any questions, please make sure just to write them into the question pane and submit them, and then I will read them aloud. If you do have any questions later on, after you've had some time to process all the information that you've just heard, please, you can send them to me and I can forward them. You can send them to Michelle. You can contact customer support. Very many avenues for asking questions. I am not seeing any questions come through, Michelle. I think they're all just overloaded with information, so still processing, I'm sure. So everyone, we have recorded this and we will send this out to you, so you'll have access to the recording. And we also post all these webinars in the customer community so that your colleagues can access them at any time that's convenient for them. All right, so Michelle, if you don't have anything else, I will let you and everyone go.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
All right, thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.